Hello and welcome. Today's date comes in that of Monday, 25th day of November 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. Like we're always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and your own reward. Alrighty. Okay, so Fibonacci, the 12,856 rather level. Resistance really on two occasions. And I would say the support of 98.14 was too many to count, but that's not true. It's just a lot to count. 5, 6, 7-ish or so. As it first came down to there on right off the start of July. Then we had a little bit of support on September 19th, and it ultimately broke down nicely below that point. It obviously not even close on the 7,500 low to reaching the 6342 handle. And thereafter the fact, it had from that failed breakdown to the 74-ish level. It rallies above 10,000, but resisting the 98.14 more importantly. Not able to successfully hold either the 18 average on the daily time frame or where it came from in the area of the low 8,000s. So as it was breaking down below that point on November the 21st, it was making a statement that price action is to, well, come down and play within that 63.42. Now, as this goes, this is a very noticeable pierce above that level. Usually, they pierce extra. And it hasn't. And I should say yet. And I'm going to now switch this to the Bitstamp exchange, only so I can use my drawing tool. And then when I go like this, I would go remove drawings. And well, I'm not going to do that with these Fibonacci lines, even though they only take a couple minutes to put in. And there we have it. Okay. Price action below, of course, this 18 average. And is this going to be a situation where we resist at this point? You gotta at least have price go above the highs to at least have the alerts to, okay, yeah, this thing is ready to get going. It's not even getting to the lows yet. So there's a lot of steps needed for the reversal of trend. And there's a lot of rallies that can go up higher to doing a bear market rally. And when I say bear market rally, of course, for the intent to hit what most likely would be a pierce below 63, realistically heading down towards like 6,000 even-ish area, maybe a tiny bit above or below 58.88-ish ballpark point. That's what the intended situation is, and because it hasn't went down there yet, it wouldn't be a surprise if that's the case. It would be a rarity. Now, if it doesn't hit and this is the low, simply for those reasons that I just pointed out. When I look at this via the 3-hour term, this is the first real attempt it has managed to get above the 18 cents back in here. And that back was 14 days ago at $9,000 US. It has done enough, really at this stage, only to flatten out the band. Yeah, it's a little bit above, and now at least to keep the band flat, it's really got to hold around the 67.50 mark, and to attempt to do anything to get things going and revert this into a bull market. And even at that, if you're filling just some of this empty space, if we're playing the retracement game, and the retracement game is from this low to this high, if this has a nice little rally but is unable to even come close to 100% retracement, 100% retracement would mean coming back to 10,300. And it comes up to here or even up to here, something like that. Then 8,800 to 8,200. Let me just see what that would look like on the daily chart. On the daily chart, 8,200, that would just get you up to the 18 average of highs, and 88 would be an attempt only to get this thing back going. But again, I'm really thinking that the probability that this is going to make a move above the 18 average of highs very noticeably, and around 8,000 at that matter as well, before getting to really 6,000. I think it's got a better chance of falling 1,200 points than it does rallying 1,200 points. That's another way of putting it as well. Bitcoin dominance continues to move in low volatility and hanging in there. Band's completely relatively flat, looking like it wants to attempt to have this thing go higher, but at that it's still just one of those, okay, it's going very slow. I'm just going to keep looking at this probably once a day. And that's pretty much the case with gold and silver too. I'm just going to show silver here, hanging in there within the 18 average of lows, which is declining. And after it had a very beautiful run. So now leaving down below this, if it starts to exit out, you see it at 1677-ish area, 1670, even more. Then there could be a little bit of support there, but it's probably looking as if we'd be heading to that 1613. It looks like as if it's going to come down to this point before any type of decent move since the consensus of this. However, if I can see this get above and hold and stay above about 17 1/3 for a good amount of time, I'll be changing my tune pretty fast. Now let's move on to Komodo, and this one is really frustrating me, especially, I don't know if it's Google as well. It used to be back in 2015, 2016, 2013, 14, it was just so easy to search a lot of stuff that I want. A lot easier anyway. Even back in 2011, 2010, 2009, even 2008, 2007, it was not that difficult. Now it just seems that Google searching just doesn't seem to give me the results that I'm looking for. And I'm trying to search what's going on with Komodo and Binance. Its wallet has been offline pretty much during this entire rally. Therefore, for most of the month of November, 2 to 3 weeks. And I don't know why. Bittrex, it seems like I haven't checked it much, only a couple of times on there, and the ratio has been different there anyway. And it's not the first time stuff like that has been going into play. So I will most likely, in fact, I will be completely getting out of it. When I get out of it, that thing will probably skyrocket on me. But that's fine and dandy. Now, I don't know what I'll get into when I sell it. What I'll sell it for. I might have a lot of time to think about that, given that, well, I can't sell it on Binance, and I haven't been able to for a while. Now, Tezos has had a couple situations where their wallet's a bit offline, but well, not for long. During this last little rally, I'm like, oh, it goes up. Tezos is offline. Okay. Then I check back later that night, and it's working, and okay, all fine and dandy. Price action for Tezos before was just doing all this stuff since it got on Binance. And it really surprised me at first. It didn't have any type of big volatile rally when you figure. On the day one, it had a high of 1150 and a low of 886 on the first day. So I can take two mathematical equation numbers. The differential from 886 and 1000 is 114. And I add that to 150. So that's 164. On 886. That's only like 20% on one of these things. That was like, really? Only that? And then even days like this, just to start off with, or even the second day, the volatility with a low of 951 and a high of 1050. That's like a 10% volatile day. And then we were moving in here when the price was like at 1100 to 1138. Now we're talking a little over 3% intraday volatility. Had a little bit of a fall down here, which got me a little bit of buying in. And it's been a lot more selling that's been going on since, of course, this rally has taken place. It has gotten obviously past this level of resistance, established this one in here. Obviously not back to where it came from yet. Will it? It could. And where it came from is really anywhere within this range. The top part is, well, the high is on Satoshi to Bitcoin 1544, and then you have a few hit area around 1450. You go a little bit deeper into it around 1400, and you also got this 18 average, which is rising, which is obviously going to come above that number. It's had a little bit of a decline today, but really right now all it is a little bit. I got a little alert on here, because when I take a look at this on a shorter term time frame, that's the little first area where it came from. My last trade was back in here, selling it for Bitcoin Cash at about 1950, right at the high. 1941, I think I managed to get. But then I also sold it for I sold it for Tezos and Theta here, and like maybe here or whatever. And I'll get buybacks if it starts going down. But I like to see moves just have its up and down plays. If this is going to break this level of resistance, I would like for it to at least first come back here. But results are going to play. How's they're going to play? And only price pays. And I'll only be able to react to whatever the price is and get that at that given time. You can say something's going to be worth this or should be worth this and that, and okay, well, so be it. But you ain't going to trade it at that right now. Right now you can say, oh, this should easily be worth, 1350, it's easy to go back. Well, maybe you'll be right, but you can't buy it now at 1350 Satoshi. If it goes down there, then you'll have that opportunity to do so. Or 1400 or whatever. Or this thing is going to be worth 20 times higher. Well, you can't sell it for 20 times higher right now. Now let's transition into Cosmos or Atom. And I did get one buyback in here. See, I could have waited for it to go back. I mean, this is where it did technically come back to where it came from, but not too deep. The high in here was 4,000 on October the 24th. And the low here, piercing below it, down to 38.33. But we can see that it didn't spend much time at all, like, within like memory of price action. It was pretty much just a hit at an exact level. It didn't come down deep to this area or to where this line happens to be. It's not Fibonacci. Of course, these are just key support levels from before. However, from the high, it had its correction. It held and stayed above the 18 average. And then when it resisted its mark yesterday, it's managed to hold in there with, let's just take a look at this on the hourly. So where was the high hit yesterday? I suppose it was in here. But either way, from the single hour chart, 3 different times, the price went from the 18, above the 18 to the lows and supported it. The last time getting above it here was just this rally. And it's now been consolidating, stabilizing within this key 47.37 level. Now it's caught up to the 18 highs. It has yet, but close to catching up to the 18 average of lows via that of time. But we've got this recent high, and that's a little above where we've been. This high doesn't quite reach it. It's 49.83. And this one was barely over 5,000. Pretty much an exact hit. And since it's made this move from all of these lower highs and lower lows, a bull market sell-off, bear market rally, bull market sell-off, yeah. The opposite is what I'm saying in that sense. But anyway, the primary trend here has been higher. You have a reversal within it, thus filling empty space from this move, higher low, successfully retracing less than 100% of what it had from this low to this high. And now it's close to retracing the 100%. And when you get to the point of retracing 120, 150% of a move, well, that means you've broken out above it. And more times you probably retrace 161.8% of that move, just saying, however, and then a bit more as well. But if it's able to get above it, you can expect good moves. But holding any of these key areas, now you're talking about retracing this move to this move in here, and then successfully ensuring that if there is going to be any correcting, any going down to like 43, 4,400, that it at least holds that point. Because if something like that were to happen, it goes up, back down there, then it starts to rally back higher. The setups become magnificent. The likelihood of breaking resistance become big. And like always in spots like this, when it does get above, and I'd have to think that's above 5,100, 5,150, then you'd be giving it the benefit of the doubt that we could be making a move maybe to the next number, which is at around, well, the last key low here was 7,085. Now I'm going to transition into daily fantasy, which has been working very well. I ended up winning small yesterday, as I put about 125 or so in stake, and I won about 30 profit. Thus, almost 800 net profit for the season. Looking for 10,000. Still a little ways to go, but I'm expecting the majority of the profits to occur during the months of April, May, and the first week or so of June, up until the playoffs. However, it's been a very, very good start so far. And I don't have to make a withdrawal via cryptocurrencies right now because of the fact that I've done so already here. And it works out good because Bitcoin being down and everything, I don't really want to. But sometimes you have to. And so it's nice to be able to have this, as well as just another game that I just know I'm going to be able to defeat. So these are the games that have been played. I got to fix these dates up a little bit and ensure that they're the right ones. But I started off spending this was just something to do on October the 3rd when Arizona was playing Anaheim, just fooling around. I spent 50 cents and I broke even. Then the next day I did it again, and I win 20 cents. And I was starting to figure out during these days, I think I might be onto something here. And then the stakes, of course, getting a little bit higher. I put 121.50 into yesterday's action, which was by far the most. I probably should go like this, and I'll fix this up in time. But 121.50, and I end up profiting $31 and change, which meant an ROI of about 20 something percent, which got it below 100 for the season. It was like 115 or so coming into the day. This count here, I took all the games which have at least a $10 risk. And if I had a winning day, put a 1 here. If it was a losing day, put a 1 there. And out of the 21 days or games in which I have bet at least $10 on the game, which means more variety, more lineups mainly. I usually win. 15 times I've won, 16 times I've lost. I've had 121 turn to 150, 54 to 130. That's a nice one. But that happened after I had the exact same wager in the Arizona LA game, and I actually lost a little bit on that game. 54 into 176, 54 to 144. So the profit can be really nice. 36 into 106, 40 into 197, 23 into 222. It's been a nice run since 11/18. Now, I didn't play on the 17th because they didn't let me play. There was no games that day, at least not on their end. Sometimes they have two. This is a spot where I lost on Detroit San Jose noticeably here. And that's going to happen too. That's gonna have to happen sometimes. And it just seems that more times than not, though, I'm able to have the winning plays, and it's because I'm smart. I know exactly who's gonna score and who's not, and who's gonna win. No, I don't. But I know how box scores work. I know how math works, and I implement those two together. I also realize it's like a poker game. It's like open face poker, at least. Just like in poker, when you go all in, you see the hands. That's the same thing here. Just the difference here is going all in means when the game starts, I can download everybody's lineups, so I know what everybody has. So I kind of have an idea what to expect going into every game, what you're going to do as far as the public, and thus have an edge on that level. So it's good to have another game to be able to play with expected profit potential. And I was thinking, there's going to be an off season in the summer, but I got to think baseball is just as easy. We'll see. I've only done 2 baseball lineups, and it was successful. But I only did 2. But it's the exact same math. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.